The small ship fell from the sky like a burning star. It cut through Earth's clouds and crashed into the deep forest with a loud boom. Smoke rose from the trees as metal parts cooled in the dirt. Inside the broken ship, Do-yeon woke up with a sharp pain in his jaw. He touched the spot with his clawed hand and winced. The tooth that had been hurting for weeks now felt much worse after the crash. "Ship status?" he asked, his voice rough from the pain. "Main systems damaged. Repairs will take 3 Earth days," the ship's computer said. Do-yeon sighed and looked at the screen showing the outside world. Trees, blue sky, and no signs of the local life forms called humans. He had studied them from afar, but never planned to meet them. His mission was just to fly by this solar system and collect data. "Great," he muttered. Stuck on a primitive planet with a bad tooth. He checked his translator device and emergency kit. The pain medicine from his world was gone, used up weeks ago when the tooth first started to hurt. His people, the Draconians, looked like what humans might call dragons. Scaled skin that shimmered blue-green in the light, a long tail for balance, and a face with small horns and sharp teeth. Very sharp teeth that, when infected, caused terrible pain. Do-yeon had no choice but to leave the ship and look for something to help with the pain. He put on his suit that would hide his true form if needed and stepped outside. The earth air felt strange, thicker, and full of new smells. Birds sang in the trees, and small animals ran away as he walked through the forest. The pain in his tooth made it hard to enjoy this new world. Not far away, Minji packed her hiking gear and adjusted her glasses. She had planned this solo trip for weeks, a chance to get away from her busy life as a dental student. Her backpack held the usual things: water, food, first aid kit, and her special emergency dental kit. Her friends always laughed when she packed dental tools for camping trips. But Minji believed in being ready for anything. "You never know when someone might need help with a toothache," she always said. Today, she would discover how right she was. Minji had been hiking for 2 hours when she saw the smoke. At first, she thought it might be a campfire, but there was too much of it. Worried that someone might be hurt, she changed direction and headed toward the smoke. The sight that greeted her made her stop in her tracks. A metal object, clearly not from Earth, had crashed into a small clearing. Parts of it were still smoking, and strange lights blinked along its side. "Hello?" she called out, her voice shaking a little. "Is anyone hurt?" "I can help." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a hiss of air, a door opened in the side of the ship. Minji took a step back, her heart racing as a tall figure emerged. It looked almost human at first glance, 2 arms, 2 legs standing upright. But as it came closer, she could see that the human appearance was just a thin disguise. Behind the shimmer of what must be some kind of technology, she caught glimpses of scales and a face that was definitely not human. The creature stopped a few feet away from her, holding its jaw in obvious pain. "Are you okay?" Minji asked, her scientific curiosity now stronger than her fear. The being touched something on its wrist, and a small device made a beeping sound. "I understand your words now," it said, the voice deep but clearly strained. "I am Do-yeon of the Draconian Scout Fleet. My ship crashed due to engine failure. I am in pain." Minji noticed how the alien kept touching its jaw. Years of dental training kicked in, overriding any fear she might have felt. "Tooth pain?" she asked. Do-yeon looked surprised. "Yes, how did you know?" "I'm a dental student," Minji explained, pointing to herself. "I study teeth and how to fix them. The way you're holding your jaw is pretty universal, I guess." For a moment, they just looked at each other, a human woman and an alien being from across the stars, standing in a forest clearing on Earth. Then, Do-yeon's disguise flickered, revealing more of his true form. Minji gasped but didn't run away. You look like a dragon," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. "And you are not running or calling your military," Do-yeon noted, sounding confused. "Most species would." Minji shrugged. "I've always been more curious than scared. Plus, you're clearly in pain, and I might be able to help. Can I see the tooth that's bothering you?" Do-yeon hesitated, then nodded slowly. He turned off the disguise completely, revealing his full draconian form, 7 feet tall with blue-green scales, small horns, and a face that looked both reptilian and intelligent. He opened his mouth, showing rows of sharp teeth. One lower tooth had a dark purple spot, clearly infected. "Oh, that's definitely a cavity tooth decay," Minji said, slipping into professional mode. "It looks pretty bad. I have some tools in my pack that might help, at least temporarily. You would help me?" Doyun asked, clearly surprised. "Even though I am not human?" "Of course," Minji said, already digging through her backpack for her dental kit. "Pain is pain, no matter what planet you're from. And a tooth infection can get serious if not treated." She pulled out a small mirror, some tools, and a temporary filling kit. "I can't do a proper job here in the forest, but I might be able to help with the pain until your ship is fixed." Doyun looked at the small human female with her glasses and dental tools, offering help to an alien being without hesitation. In all his studies of Earth, nothing had prepared him for this kind of acceptance. "My name is Minji," she said with a smile, holding up a small light. "Now, let's take a better look at that tooth. Open wide, please." As Doyun carefully opened his mouth, revealing rows of sharp teeth to the brave human dental student, neither of them knew that this chance meeting would change the relationship between their worlds forever. "This might hurt a little," Minji said as she gently touched the purple spot on Doyun's tooth with a small metal tool. The dragon alien flinched and made a low, growling sound. "Sorry. But I need to check how deep the decay goes," she explained, her voice calm despite the strange situation. Here she was in the middle of the forest, examining the teeth of an actual alien who looked like a dragon. If her classmates could see her now. Doyun tried to stay still. The small human seemed to know what she was doing, but the pain was getting worse. "Can you fix it?" he asked, his words slightly muffled as he tried to keep his mouth open. Minji stepped back and thought for a moment. "I can put in a temporary filling to cover the exposed nerve, but you need a proper treatment. This is too deep for a quick fix." She looked up at the darkening sky. Evening was coming, and the forest would be dark soon. Making a decision, Minji packed up her tools. "My apartment isn't far from here, about an hour's walk. I have better equipment there. Can you walk that far?" Doyun looked surprised. "You would take me to your home? Are you not afraid?" Minji smiled. "If you wanted to hurt me, you would have done it already. Besides, you're the one in pain, not me." The alien nodded slowly. "I can walk, but other humans might see me. Can you use that disguise thing again? The one that makes you look human?" Doyun touched his wrist device, and the shimmering field appeared around him once more. Now he looked like a tall human man with unusual blue-green eyes and dark hair. "Perfect," Minji said. "Just try not to talk too much. Your accent is not from around here." They walked through the forest as the sun began to set. Minji led the way, occasionally looking back to make sure Doyun was following. The alien moved quietly for someone so large, studying everything around him with curious eyes. "Your planet is very alive," he said softly. "So many plants and animals. Is yours different?" Minji asked. "My world has more rocks and mountains. Fewer trees. The air is thinner." He winced as another wave of pain hit him. "But we have tooth problems too, it seems." Minji laughed. "Some things are universal, I guess." When they reached the edge of the forest, Minji's small town came into view. Lights were turning on in windows as night approached. Doyun stopped, suddenly nervous. "There are many humans here. Don't worry. Just stay close to me and act normal. Most people mind their own business." They walked through the quiet streets, passing a few people who barely gave them a second glance. Minji lived in a small apartment building on the third floor. She quickly unlocked her door and ushered Doyun inside. "Welcome to my home," she said, turning on the lights. "It's not much, but it's mine." Doyun looked around with interest. The apartment was small but neat, with books stacked on every surface. One corner had been turned into a mini dental office, with a reclining chair and a small table of tools. "You have a medical facility in your living space?" he asked, impressed. "I practice on models and sometimes help friends with minor issues," Minji explained. "I'm still a student, but I'm at the top of my class." She gestured to the chair. "Sit down and I'll take a better look at that tooth." Doyun sat awkwardly in the chair, his large frame barely fitting. He turned off his disguise, revealing his dragon form once more. Minji put on gloves and a mask, trying to act professional despite the extraordinary situation. Open wide, she said, adjusting a bright light. Let's see what we're dealing with. The infected tooth looked worse under the proper light. The purple spot was darker in the center, and the gum around it was swollen. This is definitely an infection, Minji said. I need to clean it out before I can fill it. But first, I need to numb the area. She held up a small syringe. This is a local anesthetic. It will block the pain while I work. I don't know if it will work on your ... biology, though. Do-yeon eyed the needle nervously. We have similar medicines on my world. You may try. Minji carefully injected the area around the bad tooth. To her relief, Do-yeon's expression soon relaxed. It works, he said, sounding surprised. The pain is fading, great. Now I can clean out the decay without hurting you. As Minji worked, she couldn't help asking questions. So, are there many of your kind? Do you all explore space? Do-yeon tried to answer without moving his mouth too much. My people are called Draconians. We have explored space for many centuries. Earth is considered ... primitive. We were told not to make contact. Minji paused her work. Yet here you are, in my dental chair. The crash was not planned, Do-yeon said with what might have been a smile. And the toothache was ... unexpected. Lucky for you I was hiking today, Minji said as she carefully cleaned the infected area of his tooth. And that I always carry dental supplies. My people would call that fate, not luck, Do-yeon replied. As she worked, Minji explained what she was doing. I'm removing all the decayed material. Then I'll place a temporary filling. It should last until your ship is fixed. Our medical technology is advanced, Do-yeon said, but dental care is not a priority. Many of my kind suffer from tooth problems. Minji looked shocked. But dental health affects overall health. Infections in the mouth can spread to other parts of the body. This is known, but not considered important, Do-yeon admitted. Warriors do not complain of tooth pain. That's just silly, Minji said, mixing the filling material. Even the strongest warrior can be taken down by a bad enough toothache. Do-yeon made a rumbling sound that might have been a laugh. You are wise for a young human. As Minji finished placing the filling, she had an idea. I have books on dental care. Would you like to see them? Maybe you could take the knowledge back to your people. Do-yeon's eyes widened. You would share your knowledge? Of course. No one should suffer from preventable tooth pain, human or draconian. After she finished the treatment, Minji made tea for herself and offered water to Do-yeon. They sat at her small table, surrounded by dental textbooks and diagrams. This is the first peaceful contact between our species, Do-yeon said quietly. And it happened because of a toothache. Minji smiled. Sometimes the universe works in strange ways. Outside, stars appeared in the night sky, the same stars Do-yeon had traveled through to reach Earth. Neither of them knew it yet. But their chance meeting would soon change both their worlds forever. Morning light streamed through Minji's apartment windows. She had slept on her small couch, giving her bedroom to Do-yeon. The alien dragon was simply too large for her couch, and she couldn't bear the thought of him sleeping on the floor with a healing tooth. Minji yawned and stretched, then froze as she remembered yesterday's events. There was an actual alien in her apartment. She had fixed his tooth. For a moment, she wondered if it had all been a dream. Then she heard a deep voice from her kitchen. Good morning. Minji, I hope you slept well. She turned to see Do-yeon standing awkwardly in her small kitchen. He had his human disguise on and was holding a mug of something steaming. I made this drink called coffee, according to the instructions on the container, he said. Is this correct? Minji couldn't help but smile. An advanced alien being trying to figure out how to make coffee. That's perfect, thank you, she said, accepting the mug. How's your tooth feeling today? Do-yeon touched his jaw. Much better. The pain is almost gone. Your treatment was effective. Good. But we should check it again today. That filling is only temporary. After breakfast, Minji led Do-yeon back to her dental chair. As he sat down and turned off his disguise, returning to his true dragon form, she prepared her tools. I need to make sure there's no more infection, she explained. If there is, we might need something stronger than just a filling. Do-yeon opened his mouth wide, revealing his sharp teeth. Minji worked carefully, checking the tooth she had treated yesterday. It looks better already, she said, surprised. The purple color is fading. Your people must heal faster than humans. Yes, we do, Do-yeon confirmed. But our teeth are still vulnerable to decay, especially when we eat sweet foods. Minji laughed. Just like humans. Sugar is bad for teeth across the galaxy, it seems. As she worked, Do-yeon asked about her life. Minji told him about her childhood dream of becoming a dentist, her years of study, and her hope to open a clinic someday to help people who couldn't afford dental care. Your dedication to healing others is admirable, Do-yeon said. On my world, healers are respected, but dental problems are seen as minor concerns. That's a shame, Minji replied. Dental health is so important to overall health. A bad infection can spread to other parts of the body. She finished checking his tooth and mixed a stronger filling material. This should last longer than yesterday's quick fix. While the filling set, Minji showed Do-yeon her textbooks. He was fascinated by the detailed diagrams of human teeth and the various treatments for different problems. Our medical texts don't include much about dental care, he admitted. This is all new information for me. Minji had an idea. Would you like me to make copies of some basic dental care information? You could take it back to your people. Do-yeon's eyes widened. You would share your knowledge so freely? Of course. No one should suffer from tooth pain if it can be prevented. As Minji gathered her textbooks and began marking important pages, Do-yeon grew quiet. Finally, he spoke. Minji, I must tell you something important. My ship has been sending signals about my crash. A rescue team will arrive tomorrow. Minji felt a strange mix of emotions: relief that Do-yeon would get home safely, but sadness that their time together would end so soon. That's good news, she said, trying to sound happy. You'll be able to go home. Yes, but... Do-yeon hesitated. The rescue team will report this contact. They will know I met a human. Minji put down her pen. Is that bad? Will you get in trouble? I don't know, Do-yeon admitted. Contact with developing worlds is strictly controlled. But this was an emergency situation. He looked at the dental books spread across the table. And I have learned valuable information that could help many of my people. Minji thought for a moment. What if I went with you? Just to meet the rescue team? I could explain that I only helped you because you were hurt. Do-yeon looked shocked. You would do that? Meet more of my kind? Why not? I've already met one friendly dragon alien. What's a few more? Minji smiled, but then grew serious. Unless you think they would hurt me? No, they would not harm you, Do-yeon assured her. But it would be unprecedented. No human has officially met our kind before. Well, there's a first time for everything, Minji said with determination. And I want them to know that humans can be helpful and friendly. That afternoon, they gathered the dental information Minji wanted to share. She made simple drawings showing basic dental care techniques and wrote clear instructions that could be translated into the draconian language. These are the most important things, she explained, showing Do-yeon a diagram of proper tooth cleaning. Preventing problems is always better than fixing them later. Do-yeon studied the drawings carefully. This knowledge could help many of my people. Tooth pain is common, but most suffer in silence. Not anymore, Minji said firmly. Not if I can help it. As evening approached, Do-yeon received a message on his wrist device. The rescue ship would arrive at dawn, landing near his crashed vessel in the forest. We should leave early, he said. The walk to my ship will take time. Minji nodded, suddenly feeling nervous. Tomorrow she would meet more aliens. She packed a small bag with dental supplies, just in case, and made sandwiches for their journey. That night, as they prepared for sleep, Do-yeon turned to Minji with a serious expression. Thank you, he said simply. Not just for fixing my tooth, but for your kindness. For not being afraid. Minji smiled. That's what friends do, they help each other. Friends, Do-yeon repeated the word slowly. Yes, I believe we're friends now. As Minji lay on her couch that night, she looked out her window at the stars. Somewhere up there was Do-yeon's home world, filled with dragon-like beings who had never met humans before. Tomorrow, she would be the first human to officially meet them, all because she had stopped to help someone with a TOOTHHEA. Sometimes, The smallest acts of kindness could lead to the biggest adventures. Minji fell asleep wondering what tomorrow would bring, excited and a little scared, but mostly proud that she had followed her instinct to help. Even when that someone turned out to be an alien dragon from across the stars. The forest was quiet in the early morning light as Minji and Doyeon made their way back to the crash site. Dew sparkled on leaves and spider webs, and birds sang their morning songs. Minji clutched her backpack tightly. Inside were her dental tools, copies of basic dental care information, and a few small gifts, things she thought might help explain human culture to the other Draconians. "Are you nervous?" Doyeon asked, noticing how quiet she had become. "A little," Minji admitted. "I'm about to meet aliens from another world. That's not something that happens every day." Doyeon, walking beside her in his human disguise, nodded. "My people will be surprised too. This is not how first contact was supposed to happen." "How is it supposed to happen?" Minji asked. "With official representatives, careful planning, and many rules," Doyeon explained. "Not because a scout had a toothache and a kind human dental student helped him." They both laughed at the absurdity of their situation as they approached the clearing where Doyeon's ship had crashed. They saw it was now surrounded by a soft blue light. The damaged parts looked partially repaired. "The self-healing systems have been working," Doyeon explained. "But it still needs help from the rescue team." Minji was about to ask more questions when a low humming sound filled the air. She looked up to see the clouds parting as a large ship, much bigger than Doyeon's small scout, vessel descended slowly toward the clearing. "They're here," Doyeon said, turning off his human disguise. His true dragon form appeared, blue-green scales shimmering in the morning light. "Stay close to me. I will explain everything." The rescue ship was beautiful, sleek, and silver with no visible engines, yet it moved with perfect control. It hovered above the trees, then settled gently in the clearing near Doyeon's damaged vessel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a door opened in the side of the ship, and 3 figures emerged. They were Draconians like Doyeon, but each looked slightly different. One had darker scales with red markings, another was smaller with more delicate features, and the third was larger with what looked like battle scars across one side of its face. "My team leader, our medical officer, and our security chief," Doyeon whispered to Minji. "Stay calm. Let me speak first." The 3 Draconians approached, their eyes fixed on Minji with obvious surprise and caution. The one with the battle scars moved his hand toward what might have been a weapon. "Scout Doyeon," the team leader said in a deep voice that somehow sounded both reptilian and musical. "Explain this human's presence." Doyeon stepped forward and bowed his head slightly. "Team leader Yeho, this is Minji. She found me after the crash when I was in pain from a dental infection. She is a healer, a dental student, and she treated my condition." The medical officer, the smaller Draconian with delicate features, moved closer with interest. "A human healed you?" "Yes, Medical Officer Hyeri," Doyeon replied. "She has knowledge of dental care that exceeds our own." The infection was severe, but her treatment was effective. Minji bowed politely, trying to remember everything Doyeon had told her about Draconian customs. "I'm honored to meet you. I only wanted to help someone in pain." The security chief growled something in their native language, and Doyeon responded quickly. Minji couldn't understand the words, but the tone seemed defensive. Team leader Yeho raised a clawed hand, silencing them both. "This is unprecedented. No human has ever met our kind officially." "I know," Minji said, gathering her courage. "But maybe it's time that changed. We have things we could learn from each other." She opened her backpack and took out the dental care information she had prepared. "For example, I've put together some basic dental care knowledge that might help your people. Doyeon told me that tooth problems are common among Draconians but often ignored." Medical Officer Hyeri stepped forward, her eyes bright with curiosity. "May I see this information?" Minji handed over the papers with diagrams and simple instructions. Hyeri studied them carefully, then looked up with what seemed to be the Draconian version of a smile. "This is ... fascinating. Simple techniques, but potentially very effective." She turned to team leader Yeho. "This could help many of our people who suffer from dental pain." The security chief, still suspicious, spoke in their language again. This time Minji caught Doyeon's reply. "She helped me when she could have called her authorities. She shared her home and her knowledge freely." She is a friend. Team leader Yeho considered this, then approached Minji directly. Human healer. Your actions were unexpected. Our protocols for first contact do not include crash scouts with toothaches. Minji couldn't help but smile. Sometimes the best things happen by accident, not by plan. To her surprise, Yeho made a rumbling sound that might have been laughter. Perhaps you are right. Our two species will meet officially someday, but for now, this small contact may be ... educational. Medical Officer Hayeri was still examining the dental information. These techniques could be adapted for our physiology easily. And this preventive care approach, it's so simple yet we've overlooked it. Prevention is always better than treatment, Minji said. That's one of the first things we learn in dental school. For the next hour, Minji found herself sitting on a fallen log in the forest clearing, surrounded by curious draconians asking questions about human dental practices. She demonstrated brushing techniques using a model. She had brought and explained the importance of regular checkups. The same bacteria that cause tooth decay can enter the bloodstream through infected gums, she explained. This can lead to problems in other parts of the body. Just as our ancient texts suggested, Hayeri said, looking excited. But these specific techniques were lost over time. Even the security chief, whose name she learned was Taiwu, eventually showed interest. Especially when Minji mentioned that tooth pain had been known to affect military performance in human history. A warrior distracted by tooth pain is a vulnerable warrior, Taiwu admitted. This knowledge has strategic value. As the morning passed, the Draconians worked on repairing Do-Yun's ship while continuing to ask Minji questions. She learned that their home world was called Draken, orbiting a star about 40 light years from Earth. Their civilization was thousands of years older than humanity's, but they had developed in different ways. We focused on space travel and energy technology, Yeho explained. But some simpler medical practices were lost or considered less important over time. That happens on Earth too, Minji said. Sometimes we get so focused on new technology that we forget the basics. By midday, the repairs were nearly complete. Yeho approached Minji with a formal bow. Human healer Minji, we are in your debt for assisting Scout Do-Yun. This unexpected meeting has been ... enlightening. Minji bowed in return. I'm just glad I could help. And I've learned a lot too. Yeho hesitated, then continued. Our High Council will need to be informed of this contact. They may wish to continue this exchange of knowledge. Minji's heart raced with excitement. I would be honored to help in any way I can. As the Draconians prepared to leave, Do-Yun came to say goodbye. Thank you again, Minji. You have not only fixed my tooth, but may have started something much bigger. Minji smiled. All because you crashed in the right forest with the right toothache. Sometimes the universe worked in very strange ways indeed. 6 months had passed since the day Minji had said goodbye to Do-Yun and the other Draconians in the forest clearing. Life had returned to normal, or what passed for normal when you were the only human on Earth who knew that dragon-like aliens existed. Minji had graduated from dental school with top honors. Her professors had been impressed by her final project on universal dental care principles, though none of them knew she had tested her theories on an actual alien. Today, Minji was setting up her new small dental clinic in a quiet part of town. She had used her savings and a small loan to create a space where she could help people who couldn't afford expensive dental care. The clinic was almost ready to open. With just a few final touches needed. As she arranged her tools on a tray, Minji heard the bell above the door ring. She looked up, expecting to see the delivery person with her new office chairs. Instead, she saw a tall man with unusual blue-green eyes. Do-Yun? She whispered, hardly believing her eyes. The disguised Draconian smiled. Hello, Minji. It is good to see you again. Minji rushed forward and then stopped, unsure if hugging was appropriate for Draconians. Do-Yun solved the problem by extending his hand in the human greeting he had learned from her. What are you doing here? Minji asked as they shook hands. Is everything okay? Your tooth, my tooth is perfect, Do-Yun assured her. Your treatment was excellent. But I am not here about my dental health. I bring news. He looked around the empty clinic. Is there somewhere private we can talk? Minji led him to her small office in the back. Once the door was closed, Do-yoon turned off his human disguise, revealing his true draconian form. He seemed different somehow. His scales were brighter, and he wore what looked like an official uniform with strange symbols on the chest. The High Council reviewed our report about the contact with you, Do-yoon explained. They were surprised but also impressed by the dental knowledge you shared. Really? Minji couldn't hide her excitement. Yes, Medical Officer Hyeri has implemented your dental care techniques in our medical program. Already, thousands of Draconians have found relief from problems that were previously ignored. Minji felt a warm glow of pride. I'm so glad I could help. You did more than help, Do-yoon said. You changed how some of our leaders think about humans. They'd believed your species was too primitive for meaningful exchange. But your simple, effective dental techniques prove that. Humans have valuable knowledge. He reached into a pocket in his uniform and pulled out a small device that looked like a smooth silver stone. The High Council has sent me with an official proposal. They wish to establish a small secret cultural exchange program, beginning with medical knowledge. Minji stared at the device. What does that mean exactly? Do-yoon placed the silver stone on her desk. It glowed softly and projected a 3D image of what appeared to be official documents in both Draconian symbols and English. It means that selected human medical professionals beginning with you would share knowledge with our healers. In return, we would share some of our medical advances that are safe for your current technology level. Minji sat down feeling overwhelmed. Me? But I'm just a new graduate. Surely there are better. The council specifically asked for you, Do-yoon interrupted. You showed compassion and wisdom beyond your years. You saw past our differences to help someone in need. That is exactly the kind of person we want for this exchange. Minji looked at the glowing document, her mind racing with possibilities. Would I have to leave Earth? Would I have to leave Earth? Go to your world? Not yet, Do-yoon said. For now, the exchange would happen here in secret. A small team of our medical researchers would visit periodically. You would continue your work here, but also serve as our liaison. He gestured around the small clinic. This private practice would be perfect for discreet meetings. Minji thought about what this meant. She would be part of humanity's first official, though secret, contact with an advanced alien civilization. All because she had stopped to help someone with a toothache. What about your leaders? Are they all okay with this? She asked. Do-yoon made a rumbling sound that she now recognized as a draconian chuckle. Not all. Some think it is too soon. But Medical Officer Hyeri has become quite influential since implementing your dental techniques. The reduction in chronic pain among our space fleet crews alone has improved efficiency by 12%. 12% just from better dental care? Minji was amazed. Yes, it turns out that warriors, scientists, and explorers all perform better when they are not distracted by tooth pain. Do-yoon's expression grew serious. And there's something else. Something we discovered when studying your dental techniques more closely. What's that? Some of the natural remedies you mentioned, the plant extracts, humans have used for dental pain for centuries. They contain compounds that interact uniquely with our biology. They may help treat a degenerative condition that affects many of our elders. Minji's eyes widened. Really? Which plants? The one you call clove. The oil contains a compound that, in our biology, appears to slow neural degeneration. That's amazing. Minji exclaimed, something so simple, so common on Earth could help your people in ways we never imagined. Exactly, Do-yoon said. This is why exchange between different species is so valuable. What is ordinary to one may be extraordinary to another. Minji looked again at the glowing document. This was bigger than she had ever dreamed. Her small dental clinic could become a bridge between worlds. If I agree, when would this start? She asked. Soon, a small research team is already on Earth waiting for your answer. Minji took a deep breath. I have one condition. Do-yoon tilted his head. What is that? I still want to help the people in this community who need dental care. That was my dream before I met you, and I don't want to give it up. Of course, Do-yoon said. That compassion is why you were chosen. You can continue your human practice during normal hours. The exchange meetings would happen after your clinic closes. Minji stood up, her decision made. Then my answer is yes. Doyun's scales seemed to brighten with what she now recognized as happiness. Excellent! I will inform the team. As they finalized the details, Minji couldn't help but smile at the strange path her life had taken. 6 months ago, she had been a dental student on a hiking trip. Now she was about to become Earth's first official ambassador to an advanced alien civilization. That evening, after Doyeon left to bring the research team to her clinic, Minji stood outside looking up at the stars. Somewhere up there was Draken, a world of dragon-like beings who had discovered that a simple human, dental student had something valuable to teach them, and all because she had seen someone in pain and said, "Let me fix your decayed tooth." Sometimes, the greatest adventures began with the smallest acts of kindness, and sometimes a toothache could change the universe.